Merry Meet! I'm Cindy with Corey Devotions, and today we're covering mundane or non-magical forms of beginning shadow work. And if you're new to the channel, we're here just healing from religious trauma while putting the craft in witchcraft and discussing all things pagan, witchy, and spiritual. If that's your vibe, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can see when future videos come out. Before starting a process like shadow work, it's important that you're safe and able to focus on your healing. So if you haven't yet, please watch the introduction to shadow work first, then come back to this video. Today, I'm going to show you 3 methods of grounding to reconnect your mind, body, and spirit. Then I will show you how to identify and connect with your first shadow using journaling only. To get started with grounding, please find a quiet place close to the ground and get into a comfortable position. If you can't reach the ground, consider whatever you're sitting on to be your connection to the ground. For 4-2-6 breathing, you will breathe in for 4 counts, relax, then exhale for 6 counts. You can do this a few times or until you feel completely relaxed. Together, we inhale, 2, 3, 4, relax, then exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. For this grounding technique, I imagine myself as an energetic tree. My energy reaches down into the earth like roots, connecting me to the earth, anchoring me to its foundations. As I do this, the earth is nourishing me through these root systems, even as I share my energy with the earth. Then, I focus on my body as the trunk of the tree. Rooted in the earth, strong and flexible, I sway with the wind and withstand any storm. Then, my mind and thoughts extend to the air like branches and leaves, soaking in the rays of the sun. I connect with the universe and receive all the goodwill it has for me. This meditation style doesn't require you to mentally isolate from your surroundings, but like a tree, you can be rooted and grounded regardless of the animals running around you or the sounds in the air or children playing nearby. This is a mindfulness exercise and will allow you to process anxiety and tension. Beginning at the top of your head, pay attention to each part of your body and look for any areas holding physical tension. For me, I felt it first in my chest. When you find it, don't hold on to it or try to push it away. Simply allow it to be. Breathe through the sensation until that tension naturally passes. This is based on a Buddhist practice I learned from Pema Chodron, who I highly recommend as an author. Alternatively, you can reset or relieve any tension by consciously tensing that muscle group or moving it in untypical ways, such as you see me do with my shoulders here. I'm going to walk you through this session I began today. This is a real shadow work session, and I'm going to be sharing some vulnerable details about my life in order to demonstrate how this looks in reality. Please be kind if you choose to comment. And as a trigger warning, I will mention housing and food insecurity and homelessness, so if you need to click away, please protect your peace. By the very nature of shadow work, getting started can be the hardest part. Your shadows are parts of yourself that lie beneath the surface in your subconscious, and they can be hard to identify. To begin, simply start with the surface level issue. What have you noticed lately about your patterns of behavior, your fears, your sadness, or the ways you interact and set boundaries in your relationships? Then form a why or what question. For example, why am I so anxious about being left alone in life? You can see that I initially had a different question. As I was writing it out, I realized that what I thought I was anxious about was just a smoke screen for something else, so I changed my question. This is the value that journaling brings to this process. After reflecting, answer the question the best you can, then ask another why question, then another, and do this until you reach a point where you no longer find readily available answers or where you identify the past memory or version of you that holds the key to this current issue. For me, I realized that when I experience these recent moments of anxiety around housing insecurity and food insecurity, it comes from a time when I was actually homeless, living in my car and couch surfing. I had 3 jobs under the table. I was working more than 50 hours a week and still making barely enough to eat on. Multiple people took advantage of me during this time, including a boyfriend, and I came away from that believing things about myself based on those experiences. Those self-limiting beliefs are the underlying cause of the anxiety that I experience today. So that is the shadow I need to face and process and ultimately decide whether to accept or release it from my life. The shadow is the version of me captured in this moment in time when these self-limiting beliefs began to form. To face her, I need to take her out of my mind and place her in front of me and address her as a separate person. I do this by writing her a letter. When I say, "Dear Cindy," I am holding that moment in my mind, addressing the 20-something homeless girl in the driver's seat of an old pickup truck. I am not talking to the whole. When I write to her, I tell her I see her. I validate her experience. I pour out everything I feel toward her. Sometimes that's compassion. Sometimes I only feel resentment, and it takes time to reach compassion. Whatever it is, I put all those raw feelings on the page. Eventually, I'm able to accept her, not as the part of me who failed, but as the part of me that kept us alive. I can learn something from her strengths and her faith in people, and I can accept her back into the whole of who I am and understand who that is better than before. The next step in shadow work is processing this encounter, and I will walk you through that in the next video in the series. If you are enjoying this series, please let me know, and I do hope to see you in the next video. Until then, be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Blessed be.